Hi, I'm Victor Margiotta, and this is the Community Show. Very blessed to have our guests from the River Journal North magazine, Alain, and Elizabeth Goodyear. So we're going to be talking about the music, Battle of the Bands. We're going to be talking about local things going on in town, and just very excited to have Elizabeth on the show. So thanks, Liz, for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so tell us how you guys connected.
So I was working on a festival, which was going to be Peekskill's first indoor indie festival, celebration of the end of COVID, which was a little premature. But Alain was writing about it; he was covering it. We unfortunately had to postpone that. So Alain reached out saying, "Oh, can we do another story in River Journal North?" And I was like, "Hey, this hasn't been made official yet. Let's not do that. This is kind of what we're doing, and we're just having to kind of recalibrate." And then he said, "Do you want to meet and grab coffee?" I mean, this was all via email, so I wasn't talking, but do you want to grab coffee sometime? And I'm like, yeah, I have some free time on my hands right now. So yes, we met. He brought Bruce, that's his wingman, to most things. And we just started talking. And he said, I've actually wanted to plan and produce a festival for a long time. An indie festival, kind of like underground garage, slightly different than the original indie festival. But so that's how we connected, started talking, and then, started planning a few different events, realized, hey, rather than just making one festival, why don't we team up on a more kind of permanent basis and create a live music production and promotion company that has this media arm. So that's where River Journal North come in to complement all of the music endeavors we're doing.
So you've been wanting to do this for a while.
I have. I wanted to do some sort of music event in the river towns. When the Clearwater Festival ended, I thought, hey, that's a great venue, Croton Point Park. Maybe we could create something there. And as Liz was saying, during COVID, there really wasn't anything you could do, even outdoors, for a few years. So, just as luck would have it, with Liz planning this festival that didn't happen, but it was a great idea, and us covering it in the publication, it became clear to both of us that there was an opportunity for us to combine forces rather than go separate paths. And because we have marketing muscle with River Journal and River Journal North and our website, we're able to promote our events, and that really plays into the benefit of our sponsors as well, who love seeing themselves in the media, and then when they're at the events, they see themselves at the actual event in front of thousands of people. So it's just a great win-win.
Awesome. So talk about where you went to school and how you got to this point.
Oh, man. I went to the University of Texas. I'm from Texas. I'm from Dallas. Yes, I'm a Longhorn, which, like, Austin is, the live music capital of the world. They love to say that, and I honestly believe it to be true. It was, so I went to a show much more often than I went to class. Sorry, Dad and Mom. For my at least freshman and sophomore years, but it was the best. Like, it was just, and it's so intimate, and it's, Texas, but it's kind of more like California, Texas, and it's, a wonderful place. So I went to school there. I always knew I was going to move to New York. As a small child, I said I was going to be a meteorologist and live in Connecticut, but work in New York. That was my thing. I don't know why. I don't live in Connecticut, obviously. I live in Westchester. So I've lived here ever since I graduated. Got a job, ended up, marrying one of my coworkers. It was on the up and up, though. He had left the job by that point. And then, so I've been in Westchester about almost 8 years now. I was in the city for the first 5. Yeah.
And what led you to get into the music field?
I was actually in video, originally marketing and then video. And when I was doing video, I just always knew I wanted to be doing music. So I would convince my boss, Ryan, to do all of these music events and kind of do things on the side, allow me to take our crew, all of whom were also musicians, to do these different shoots. We had a whole rooftop series in Brooklyn. We did a music blog in Brooklyn. We worked on a lot of different shoots. And, I always knew, and some music videos too. So I always knew that, like, music is what I wanted to be doing. And I was trying to figure out how to kind of parlay that into what I'm doing now, which now it makes sense. Like the producer me is just, kind of like type A organizing all of the details. And the music like fan is just like, I know what the payout's going to be. At the end, I'm going to have a really awesome show that I get to see because that's why I'm in it. I love live music. It's my favorite.
Yeah, me too. I love it. I grew up listening to Michael Jackson, and then of course, my parents, Frank Sinatra. Mm-hmm. But a blend of all different kinds of music. Turned out, I was really into the heavy, heavy metal music. But,
yes. You were joking at first, but I can tell you're actually really into heavy metal in your car. I can imagine. Yeah.
It's awesome.
It's fun.
So, talk about the promotion end and how do you get to do the Battle of the Bands?
So the Battle of the Bands was kind of, all right, we know that we want to really kind of prop up but help support the Paramount, which is, kind of my neighborhood venue. I live in Cortland, just right down the road from Peekskill. It's a beautiful venue for
really
everyone who has not been there. When people walk in and have never been, they're just like, it's striking. It's beautiful. So we were thinking, okay, how do we really kind of help this venue too? And it's tricky because it's 1,000 capacity venue, so it's on the larger side. But right now, people aren't really looking at it for this type of music. So how do we attach something else to it to really kind of spread the word within the community and to also support all of these local bands that we came to realize there's so much talent in this region. We could really be like incubating and supporting the bands that are right here, our venue that's right here, and how can we do this? So we wanted to pair it with kind of like a festival, an outdoor festival. Louis Lanz has been hugely supportive of the things that we're trying to do. I met him, I guess, a couple years ago now. So he's been, really, really supportive of this and offered up River Outposts to be able to do these events. And so, we kind of bring in the crew. We bring in our different vendors and, our sponsors and whomever else is there to kind of, take part in this. And then it's pretty plug and play for him. And, to us, it really supports also the next show, to build enthusiasm and to give the sponsors an area to do some activations and some exciting things.
And it's wonderful that you're able to, be in partnership with so many different groups.
Yeah, because of the publications, we have great relationships with local businesses, and we're able to bring them this new opportunity that's beyond the pages of River Journal, where they can have live activations, they could be in front of people, they could get their brand out there. And one of the things that's most important about what we're doing in terms of the music is as Liz was saying, we're really trying to create opportunities for local bands, but bands that play original music, not cover bands, bands that are really trying to make a go of it. And there are amazing musicians and bands all the way up and down the Hudson Valley. And we're trying to concentrate on local, and our definition of local is not just Peekskill, Croton. It's Beacon to Brooklyn, we like to say. And the Battle of the Bands, the winner in our last event, and the same will be the case this time, becomes the opening act for the show at the Paramount. Right. So it's a great opportunity for a relatively small band to be playing in a 1,000-seat theater, which is pretty cool.
It is very cool.
Yeah.
Like Liz said, the place is beautiful. It really is. It's historic. I remember going there as a kid and seeing different shows there.
Right.
So
it's beautiful.
What is your relationship with the Paramount right now?
So we have a great relationship with them, both on the music side and on the media side. They're an advertiser of River Journal. We also like to cover what's happening at the Paramount as much as possible.
Yes, I saw that.
But we're really trying to establish a relationship with Rivertown's music group and the Paramount, where we work together to bring shows that maybe the Paramount wouldn't have otherwise done on their own, but really as a true partnership where we're not just coming in and saying, hey, can we rent your theater? Yeah. It's more like, how can we work together to make this work for everybody, for the theater, for us as a producer for the bands. We want to make sure the bands are going to make money and not just get the exposure. Right. So it's a really good partnership, right from not only the staff at the Paramount, but even the board of the Paramount. We work with them, and they're it's a really strong partnership so far.
Yeah, and thank goodness for Louis Lenza. I mean, he really does support a huge Peekskill fan. I mean, once he moved up here and started buying some of the restaurants, how can you not like Peekskill? It really is beautiful. We're right on the Hudson. Yeah. They're even building these high rises and these apartments, and it's really going to explode, I think.
Yeah. And it has the character too, which it has. Peekskill. It's got like the artistic history. It's and just the kind of that industrial feeling as well. It's an interesting mix. It's not quite as I would say not sanitized, but as
Well, we're still a little bit country too.
It is. It's got its own little quirks and definitely its own character, from like Peekskill Coffee to, River Outpost. Clearly, that's just the entertainment hub on that side, and what they're doing over, to connect the railroad and downtown. I think that's going to be really exciting.
It is exciting, for sure. And you got the hotel, the Abbey now. That's really nice.
Yes.
Yeah. In fact, Ginsberg Development Companies, which owns the Abbey, has been our sponsor since we launched the music events, and they're back in as a sponsor for our Battle of the Bands, which is on October 30th. It's a Halloween-themed, family-focused event at the River Outpost, and as you know, Ginsberg is very big in terms of development in Peekskill, among other places. But they're not only they built that beautiful hotel, the Abbey, but they're building condos and apartments, and so it's a really good partnership for us and them to be, really focused on Peekskill and the growth that's going on there.
I love that, a lot of the stories in the magazine is about families, and I can't help asking you about your kids. So talk a little bit about the kids.
I have several, quite a few. I like to say 4 that I know of, and then some people laugh, and then others just look confused. So I have 4 young kids, ranging from 7.5 to 10 months. And
wow, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
That's beautiful.
They're a lot of fun. They keep me on my toes. Alain hears them a lot in the background. He's gotten to know them pretty well. He's like, oh, Gunner, or oh, Broy. My kids are like cartoon characters, I guess. I mean, a lot of kids are like that.
In fact, when we first met, when we had coffee, you were like
I
7. I
surprised you by being really pregnant.
Yeah, you were 7 or 8 months pregnant, and I thought, well, she's going to be out of commission for the next year, and she didn't miss a beat. So.
Yeah. Oh heck no. Right. I'm on my computer. It's not like Right. Yeah. And I was doing the whole planning First River at that point, so I would have been 3 weeks shy of having the baby for the First River Festival. I think that totally surprised, because I didn't tell him, oh, by the way, I'm pregnant. That's just a weird thing to say. So I walk in, and then his face was just like, are you kidding? What?
It is amazing how people can work at home though now.
Yeah, right. Oh yeah, and from Zoom, so you couldn't tell. Right? I don't even know if we had Zoom prior, but you couldn't really tell. So I mean, you can't. I mean, for me, it's not a handicap to have the kids, and it's actually the easiest when you are pregnant to me, because they're there and they're contained. But then when you have the child, that's a different ballgame.
One more, it's a lot of work. You guys did an article about free play helps kids learn to thrive. I thought that was a great article. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, we do try to write, like you said, a lot about families, and we find that the people who are most engaged in the communities and what's happening locally are the parents who have kids that are growing up here, so they want to know what's happening with the schools, with the businesses, with the organizations. So anytime we can write about service pieces that help a parent or a grandparent or a family think about things that would affect their kids, we want to do that while still keeping it very locally focused, so that if you're reading River Journal or River Journal North, it's about people it's about businesses you know and the school district you know. So
It's wonderful. And, I read also the pet of the month. When did when did you get that idea?
yeah, so pet of the month is everybody thinks their dog or cat is the cutest thing in the world. So we have advertisers who are veterinarians or who own pet stores, pet shops, and it just became clear that if we solicited our readers to send in their pet photos, we would get so many photos, and we do. We get dozens and dozens every month, and so we have a backlog. And the pet stores, both for River Journal and River Journal North, love being adjacent to that content, and they give the winning pet and the family a nice gift basket. But it's every time the issue comes out, the next day we get so many submissions, probably because people are sitting at home going, oh, my dog's
my
cuter
dog.
than that. So,
Yeah, but it is really nice.
Yeah.
So. And then we did a story, you did a story about ticks. And, I've been golfing for 20 years, and I can't help it. I go in the woods looking for balls.
Right.
And finally last year, I wound up getting Lyme's disease.
Aye.
And it was funny because it was the same symptoms as COVID. So when I tried to go in the office, they wouldn't let me in. So I had to go around the back of the office. It was like the hottest day of the year. I'm standing out there waiting for them to come out and swab me. But I had the ring, so I
Yeah.
showed them I had, the ring where I got bit. And, luckily got right on the antibiotics and took care of it right away. I think that's the most important thing.
Yeah. I had Lyme's disease. It was brutal.
Yeah.
But this came about because one of our writers who lives in Briarcliff, she got bit by a tick, or she found a tick on her, and she went to the doctor and was on antibiotics, and she was okay, but she started really thinking about the fact that it is so prevalent in this area. And even the other day I saw somebody took a picture and posted on Facebook where she had like 12 ticks that she had pulled off of herself and her kid. So yeah, it's something that's out there, and you got to really be careful.
And also, if you have a pet and they're outside and they come in, and so you have to be careful about that too.
Yeah.
So how are we organizing the next Battle of the Bands?
Right, so we're in the thick of it right now.
Okay.
We're having, bands submit. We always open it to, anyone who wants to submit. And yeah, that event is going to be October 30th. So we're going to have our submission deadline of October 9th, so that we can review for about a week and then make our announcement. And this one's going to be a little bit more kind of like rock focused. Spanning a lot of different genres, from blues rock to kind of some funk, to an indie rock kind of stalwart from Peekskill as well. And again, supporting all of these bands that are here from Beacon to Brooklyn. We don't cap it at that. We also had some submissions from Connecticut. So Connecticut, don't worry, you're still available, and in New Jersey too. Because we feel like there's just so much talent here. A lot of talent that has moved up from the city and elsewhere and kind of settled here. So we're in the thick of the Battle of the Bands. And then on December 9th, which is a Friday, we're going to have our show at the Paramount. That's kind of like a female-driven show. There's one of our bands that doesn't have any women in it, but the other ones do have. And that's one of the things that we realized, was that there was a lot of talent there, but it's kind of underrepresented. So one of our co-headlining bands came up with the idea of what if, and it was actually a male who came up with the idea, what if we did something that was female-driven? The lead singer of that band is a woman, and then their bass player is a woman, and he's like, this is just amazing, and the women don't get, I've been on festival bills where women just aren't at all present, unless there's like, an effort, and that it's very obvious that they're trying to make it like this. So, we feel like we could give women, kind of a shot at this and see how it goes.
And we're actually, sort of an extension of that is we have an event later this week on Thursday, which is the Westchester premiere of a movie called Coast, which was produced and directed by a group from Ossining, and the score of the movie was written by a band that has its roots in Ossining. So it's a movie about music, but also about women. And so we're having an event at Jacob Burns Theater in Pleasantville on Thursday that'll be the premiere of the movie, a performance by one of the women who has a song in the movie, and then we're going to have a panel discussion with the director, the producer, a couple of the actresses, including Mia Frampton, who's Peter Frampton's daughter.
Really hoping he shows up.
And so it's another way to, even though it's not a concert per se, it's another way for us to try to bring attention to artists from this area, in this case, movie makers. So we're pretty excited about this. By the time this airs, it'll have passed.
Yeah, but still, we could, go online and check it out for sure. So there actually has been a film festival at the Paramount. Now, were you guys involved with that at all?
We weren't actually. So I believe that is like a different group. I think they maybe skipped the year prior, but then they did it again last year. And I think they're going to keep going. It seems to be really popular. It was in the summer. I think it was in June. Yeah, we love kind of all that they do. They also do at least, I think, one community event every month, whether it's a blood drive or different free events for the community. So, the Paramount has some interesting things up their sleeves, and they're, I think, like-minded, and why don't we try something new? There are very few questions that we ask them, like, what if we did this, that they'll just shoot us down. Or maybe they'll shoot us down initially, but then they'll kind of warm up to the idea. So, I mean, working with them, like Alain had said, our relationship has become pretty close. And they really are just like a family. And I'm sure other venues are like this too, but they have kind of that family mentality. So it's nice to work with them.
So we're very blessed to be here at the library, and they afforded us the space to do the show. Talk about your relationship with the library.
Yeah, so we have a really good relationship with the Hen Hud Library. First they're advertising partners, so we love the fact that they support us on a business level. But they also provide content every month for River Journal North, because they have so much going on. It's more than just, come take out a book. There's activities for families, there's movie nights, there's music, there's just so much going on. So Bruce Apar, our editorial director, works very closely with them each month and says, hey, provide us with content so people know what's happening in the library. And it's a real resource, whether it's, get your passport updated, or come see a movie, or take out a book, or
they have live music on Sundays in the afternoon, which is really nice.
Yeah,
it's a beautiful space. They really did some job.
And the children's room I've been to with my kids, like the tree that's super cute. They were one of the few places for a while that had toys back out. And it seems like a very small thing, but most of the libraries that we had gone to, they took away all like the train tables and all the toys. So I remember coming here on a couple play dates, like, oh, they have toys back. Yes,
it's amazing. It's a hotbed of libraries around here. I mean,
really is.
The Warner Library in Tarrytown we work closely with, the Ossining Library, the Field Library in Peekskill. There really are great libraries here, and they're all so supportive of the community and the kids.
It's huge. So Deb Malone is leaving the chamber. She's not leaving the chamber, but she's stepping down.
Right. She just stepped down, I think, at the end of July.
Okay.
She's still main member of the chamber, but she was the president for many years. We just did not only a story about her in a recent issue, but we did one of our podcasts, which is called River Talk. It was an interview with her, which was really great. She's been not only with the chamber, but she was a local business person for many years prior to that. So she's been a really great supporter of our publications. In fact, I think we may have told you last time we were talking that Bruce and I met at a chamber meeting the first time I showed up at a meeting to tell people we were launching River Journal North. He came over and said, hey, I'm an editor, do you want? And so it was a perfect example of how the Chamber of Commerce brings businesses together, and I probably wouldn't have found him otherwise, so it was really great.
Chuck Newman actually said he introduced you. by the way.
Did he?
Yes. Chuck was like, I'm pretty sure I introduced it because now I've become kind of fond of these chamber breakfasts, which are really fun, and the breakfast is great. So meeting a fellow chamber member, he's like, yeah, I'm pretty sure I introduced Bruce and Alan.
He might have said, oh, you might want to talk to that guy
yeah,
over there.
he's like, I'm pretty sure I match-made them.
Yeah.
Because they are just like Bruce and Alan are the best pair.
Yeah,
I feel like,
it's amazing, how, and what a great connection,
Yeah.
So you had Bruce on the show prior. Did you know him before that?
Actually, we've met a couple times. He claims that he interviewed me for I was an athlete back in high school, and I think I won the Con Ed award, and he interviewed me about that.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that's
Full circle.
45 years ago.
Right? I feel like in meeting him, like, how did I not know you before? He's he's everywhere, and he's hilarious.
Yeah.
Just a good guy.
He is a good guy. And what are some of his other roles on the news?
Well, he's like a Renaissance man. So besides being our editorial director, he's also on the board of the Hudson Valley Gateway Chamber. So he's so active with the entire business community. In fact, he's doing an event for the chamber next week, I think, that's called Marketing Improv with, in parentheses, Mint, so improvement, where he's going to be helping small businesses who have questions, challenges about their business. He and some others are going to help them try to overcome their challenges. But besides that, he's also, an actor, and he's
Playwright?
a playwright. He ghostwrites books. He and I are launching another magazine, Across the River, Rivertown Magazine.
That was supposed to be up and running, but
Yeah, it was supposed to. We were planning on launching in December, but we ran into a buzzsaw, literally, which is that there is no paper available to produce a new magazine, which who would have thought that would be our biggest problem.
Right.
Just glossy, though, right?
Yeah, just
The
glossy
mat is
paper. Our current publications aren't affected by it, but it's putting us back a couple of months. But we're still going to be out there at the beginning of the year. So.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Will you be able to go online with it, or are you
Yeah,
gonna
we'll
go-
have our website will be up earlier, so we'll be able to start getting the brand out there. But in terms of a physical product, which people really love when it comes to local media, they love holding and reading that physical magazine. So that probably won't be till the beginning of the year.
Now, what about the sports coming up? Are you guys covering any of the basketball and wrestling? And
We tend not to cover, because we're a monthly in print. When we do sports coverage, we like to focus on the student athlete and sort of look at them holistically. So we'll have features like Scholar Athlete of the Month, which will profile a student who's not only doing really well on the field, but also in the classroom and in the community. So it's not so much results, game results or match results. It's really more focused on the student than parents and families and the school districts love seeing those kids
it
profile.
is really nice, and I love that you highlight the valedictorian. That's excellent.
Yeah.
Good job.
Thank you.
Liz, thanks so much for coming on.
Yes, thank you.
I've loved seeing your kids on Facebook. They're beautiful.
Thank you. Yes, it's kind of like a shrine to my children.
Yeah.
So sorry for all of the new people that I've friended. I need almost like a business one and a
No,
kid one, but
it's beautiful.
yes,
It really
thank
is.
you.
All right, guys. Thanks so much for coming on.
Thanks.
Good luck with the venture with the Battle of the Bands and,
Thank you.
and all the promotions.
Yes.
So.
Thank you. It should be fun. Hope you come out.
I am.
Next
I'm
show
gonna
could be a
come.
metal show. We'll do it just for you, Victor. Metal. Yeah.
Thanks, Alan.
No, my
All
pleasure.
right. I'm Victor Margiotta. This is the Community Show. Thanks for watching. And don't complain about what's going on out there. Get involved and make a difference. Thanks for watching.